Well, hello. We're so glad you guys have tuned in and chosen to join us.
I'm Chrys Howard.
I'm Jenny Remsberg.
And you've found It's a Mom Thing on your YouTube channel. And we're so glad you've joined us today and have chosen to spend a little bit of time with us. We've got some, what we think is interesting information today because we're talking about sibling squabbling. Now, who doesn't deal with that?
We had a family of origin that both of us have our families of origin that were large families with 6 and 7 kids. So you start out there and through our families,
yes.
Yeah, lots of opportunities.
Well, and you know what I say, and my mom has said this before, the more kids you have, the more you have to adhere to some kind of a rules.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it turns into civil war, complete chaos super quickly.
Well, in front of our moms, we've laughed about this off camera. In front of our moms, there was a whole code that we knew we had to adhere to and abide by. But behind the scenes, sometimes it didn't quite look the same way.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, we are both big fans of Dr. John Brisbane, and if you follow him, you understand why we're big fans of him. And we want to share with you today his advice for dealing with sibling squabbling.
And what is his website?
ParentGuru.com.
Yes, ParentGuru.com. Fabulous resource.
So here's the beginning of this. Clearly define the rules that you have for your house with your children, and that will change when they're little bitty, then when they're elementary, then teenage years. So there'll be some times that you have to sit down and say, okay, we're talking about rules again, and here's our rules. But don't be afraid to do that. That's what keeps the peace in your family.
No, you have to do that.
You have to do
that. And then there are times when you feel like everything is out of control, and you say, okay, wait, stop, back up. Let's go back around to this because if it's out of control, it's okay. All you gotta do is stop and regain the reins. Take them back.
Take them back. So here's a key thing to remember with rules. Don't have too many of them because too many are just confusing and hard to abide by, and then it's just like this big old long list. So he has 3 main points, 3 rules.
Yes, and I think another important thing about rules is if you focus so much on the rules, you're going to have a problem because rules, remember this, rules without relationship breed rebellion. So you have to give a lot of love, and as you're explaining the rules, explain them in love. And as you enforce the rules, enforce them in love.
Right, and explaining in love also means talking about why it's important.
Absolutely.
You know, you can use that analogy. I think I've used it before. Imagine a basketball game without rules. It would just be complete chaos.
Or an intersection.
Yes.
An intersection without rules.
Help your kids understand that rules are the things that keep us safe and secure and guard us and all those kind of things. So
absolutely.
Here's the family rules that John Brisbane says. Keep your conflicts to yourself. Do not disturb the peace of the family. I love that.
Hello.
Anything, once it reaches a level that it's disturbing the peace of the entire family, then action must be taken.
Absolutely. And then don't complain to mom and dad about each other. What we're doing is trying to train them to work it out among themselves, not come to us for everything. No.
And this was so true in our house, and I feel pretty sure that it was true in Jenny's. Make no attempt to physically harm anybody in the house.
Well, yes, okay. I mean, that was the rule, but that's not always the way it happened. No. But it never was like a throwdown, free-for-all. I remember whenever we would get into a fight or whatever, Mother would say, okay, go outside, each of you, go, pick a stick up. Okay, now, you just have the fight outside. Y'all just go beat each other. And we'd be like, okay, she's lost it now. Okay.
Right.
And it would diffuse the whole thing because we're like, yeah, okay, Mom. But she knew what she was doing. She was not going to sit there and figure out who did what, whatever with whatever. Stop it. And that was her way. Just send us outside. Go ahead. Go for it. Go pick it out. But that was an effectual way for us. But
that worked too.
It was a rule.
Yes.
But
and these rules that we just stated to you in both of our homes were kind of unspoken because during those years in the 60s and 70s, I mean, parents stuck to their guns about things. And
you knew
consequences. You knew.
That's it.
Yes.
One thing we knew was there was consequences.
Right.
So we knew if we didn't abide by it, we had to determine if the price was worth the payoff.
Right.
You know, if we were going to pursue what we knew we were not supposed to pursue, we knew we were going to get in trouble. Right. So generally, that was not. There were 4 girls and 3 boys in my family, and generally, we didn't go to Tangle physically very often. That was not and if it was more of just like a slap and run. It was not a throwdown like I know some people, with a lot of boys, they just throw down. That was not our way.
Not us either. And I had 3 brothers, and my mom would not have allowed that. It didn't happen.
No.
But anyway, we're going to explain to you this ticket system that we think is really effective. And coming from the education world, teachers use this all the time. And sometimes we don't think about using the things that teachers use that are effective in classrooms in our home. But this is a very effective method for controlling squabbling in your home.
Especially the younger group. I wouldn't be able to see teenagers responding to this very well.
Well, hopefully by the teen years
they've learned it through the early years.
Right.
So when you're in the teen years, you can say, "Remember when?"
So you make these little tickets, and I just use some fun paper because if you're going to make something, you might as well
make it cute.
Might as well make it fun. So these little tickets represent the chances your children have to behave. And so the key to this whole thing is putting their behavior back on them.
That's it.
It's not on you.
Having them take responsibility.
That's right. It's not your job to make them behave. It's their job to figure out how to behave to live in this household, ultimately in the community.
Exactly.
So you take tickets, and this you can't do this until they're about 3. They don't quite totally understand it. But so you decide you want to give them 4 chances a day. So they have 4 tickets, and you explain to the kids, here are your 4 tickets. And you have 4 times to disobey or not obey the rules or however you want to explain that to them. But you will, from this point on, not argue, yell, demand, command, any of those things. You will simply take 1 ticket away. And then they will see that they now have 3 chances.
They got 3 opportunities for grace. That's what I would be saying.
Exactly right. You have 3 opportunities. So when the kids start fighting and carrying on like kids do, you don't have to ask them who started it, what happened.
No,
you simply take a ticket.
I don't want to hear
and it doesn't matter who started it. Everybody gets a ticket pulled.
Because if they're willing to participate, they're equally wrong.
Right, exactly right. And it teaches them to accept responsibility for their part that's played in whatever happened.
That's the biggest part.
So here's the important thing to remember. Once all the tickets are taken, then the behavior has to be, the consequences have to be met for the behavior.
So what if none of the tickets are taken?
If none of the tickets are taken, awesome.
I'd say you had a good day.
You had an awesome day. And I wouldn't attach a prize for every time,
No.
but it's certainly good to just on the spur of the moment say, hey, we've had a great day. Let's all go get milkshakes or something. That's fine. But don't attach this to a reward system.
Another question.
Yeah.
If none of your tickets are taken away, does it carry over to the next day?
Well, you start out each day with the same 4 tickets.
Yes. I just thought I'd cover that for our audience.
You don't get 8 the next day because
you don't get to keep 4 and then gather more.
Right. So here's John Brisbane's method of discipline. He uses the send them to bed early technique, and that's like just bring it up earlier and earlier every night until the behavior is in line with what your rules are. So if all the tickets are taken away, then at 6 o'clock you will be in your room for the night. And he recommends that you take away all the kind of toys that they can enjoy, except books.
Don't send them to a room that they love to be in with all their fun
where
stuff.
The video games and the TV and the iPod and all that.
No.
Don't send them to that.
No.
They can have a book, and then they'll go to bed at 6 o'clock.
And John Brisbane is also real big at saying, because I said so.
Yes, exactly right.
You don't explain yourself. Now, you're not being rude and hateful and unkind or sassy and, arrogant. You're just saying, because I said so. I'm the parent. That's why.
Right. So this is a simple technique. We hope that it helps you in some way. It came along a little bit too late for my kids, but I did use it for my grandkids in the car because I have a lot of grandkids. I have 14 grandkids. About 8 of them are like the same age. So elementary age during those years in our car.
Middle school was a lot of fun.
A disaster. So I had the ticket system on my dashboard, and it was very effective. Well, that was our show for the day. We hope you enjoyed it. We sure want you to subscribe to our channel and pass it along to your friends.
Absolutely.
Mom friends.
And ring the bell or click on the bell so you get your
Notices. You get your notices.
Okay, be sure to click on the bell so that you get notifications when a new video is out. And if you look all around on our channel, you'll see that there are other videos that we have posted, and we have our radio shows up as in podcast format. So if you want to go through and look at titles and see something that might interest you, we would love for you to tune in and join us on one of those. Hope you guys have a great day.
See you next time.